Thank you guys for attending this session, and thank you, Rajat, for being kind enough to host this session. We really appreciate it. Rajat is one of our toppers of CET, and he's currently in JBIMS. So the entire idea of this entire thing is that, the current students who are there, they have experienced JB as they are there. Like, they have been in person and attended. As you know, when the top percentile went to JBIMS, we really didn't get any time offline. We were attending online lectures throughout our 2 years that we had. So one of our intentions of keeping the masterclass with newer toppers was that you get mentors who are directly in JBIMS. They've experienced that. They've experienced the walls of JBIMS. And honestly, I expect that motivation to be passed on a bit, because it's really a big deal to sit where all the toppers, where all the big people, the big alumni that you hear about in JBIMS, it's the exact same walls, exact same seats where you are sitting. So yeah, it's just a lot of motivation and a lot that you can learn from Rajat as well. So we're taking the LR masterclass today. And yeah, thank you for doing this, Rajat. All over to you.
Yeah. So good evening, all the participants. So before I start an LR masterclass, there's a question that just came to my mind, so that I wanted to just share with you. And you just could note your answers there, or you could just mention that in the chat, whichever you feel comfortable with. So there are two different candidates that are there. First candidate is a really precise and an extremely precise person, but his speed is not very high, but it's decent amount of speed he has. So he's able to do, like, say, 160 questions, and he has a precision of 90%, so he gets 144 correct, so 144 marks. Another candidate is there who has extreme speed, but his precision is not as high as the first candidate, so his precision is 80%, and with his speed he's able to do 180 questions. So again, it is in 144 correct, 144 marks. So both are getting 144 marks. So my question to you is, if you want to be one of the candidates, which candidate would you want to be? Candidate A with 90% precision and 144 marks, or candidate B with 80% precision or with 144 marks, or you either one of the two? That's C option. Okay, A. Oh, 90% of the precision. Okay, B. Nobody is going for C. There's also an option of C. Okay, B, C, C. C. Okay. Now I say that I've motivated people to go for more. So, anyways, there is not a very cause 144 matters. Okay. So basically, my question was to bring to you an important thing is what CET is, and a sort of concept about buffer, which you must know. Okay. So I think most of the candidates have given some responses, so I have got the gist of it. It's a mixed bag of answer. So the thing is, you generally want to be, if you, these are the cases that I mentioned where it is possible for you to get to that level. It's not that, okay, if you are able to solve only 160 questions currently, it means that, okay, now you jump to that side. I'm not suggesting that, but in an ideal case, you would want to choose the B option. Now, it may be really counterintuitive to think that both are getting 144 marks. Why I would want to be a different sort of candidate? Or first person is so extremely precise, why I would want to be the second person with little bit? So there's this concept of buffer. The second person has a more buffer than you. You only have the option of getting 16 questions incorrect in the examination, and the other guys can get 36 question incorrect. Now, in that exam state of mind, there may be lots of very ambiguous way of questions being asked. There could be lots of various different ways which make sure that you will get 10 to 15 question incorrect, however great you are. So basically, you have to get everything right if you are the first candidate. And in the second candidate, if you have that speed, then you would have the option of getting more incorrect. So there may be a chance that you may get more marks in the examination. So basically, this was the basic gist of and making you understand that this is one of those exams where you have to understand that you have to be very dynamic in nature, be more aggressive compared to say other exams that you get, because it's a non-negative paper and you get lots of questions, like 200 questions are there, and the wall that is the basic, you would say the gist, that is the break even point where you get to JBIMS is extremely high. What will you advise us among the three? Yeah, I'm saying you'll go for the B option. The third option of either one or two is like really, it's understood that people may be thinking that both of them are correct, but since the buffer is there, the B option would give you more options. So basically, what I'm trying to suggest to you is try to be more aggressive. If you're not able to reach that aggression now, it's fine. You have to be extremely precise, but you see that even with extreme precision, there is only a certain level you could reach. But if you are able to be increase your speed, then you could reach much higher. This is the basic aggressiveness I want to just instill in you before I start the masterclass, because this is something that I really understood, because the exams that I'd given before, CAT, that those required more precision sort of thing. This is a more aggressive based exam because the seats are pretty limited and the ranks required are pretty high. So this is something that you have to be set before starting your preparation. This has to be set in your mind that how you have to go forward with it. Now, you would say that how would you suggest to improve accuracy from 60 to 80? Okay. Yeah, another thing I just wanted to ask you is that if you have very genuine questions in 5 minutes, if everybody would like to put forward their genuine questions or genuine query that may be out there, I would be happy to take it before I start the masterclass. So just go ahead and put forward your questions. No, it's not a doubt session. It's basically some sort of thing that if you want to just put forward before I start a masterclass, you could just put forward. It's just a 5 minutes exercise basically.
It's honestly a way to talk to one of the toppers, right? So take that opportunity to do that. And just where I'm speaking, I really like this example, Raja. That's a really nice analogy that you made, and I fully agree with this. I feel like when I was also preparing for my CET, I was trying to figure out if something goes wrong, where would I be safer? In the final exam, if something goes wrong, what strategy should I have to be safer, right? That's why even when we had the sectional pattern, we used to always recommend students that it's a 2 hour paper, not a 2.5 hour paper. You to complete all your sections and all your rounds in 2 hours. In the last half an hour, you want to kind of go through everything that's left. For example, if supposing there's one section that's a lot tougher, you want to cut time there, but use that extra time somewhere else. So you want to make sure that that entire thing works out. It's all about optionality and kind of managing the worst case scenario. So yeah, Rajat, really nice. And I'm going to use this and give you credit in the videos that I make, but amazing. Really like it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I'm going forward to the questions that are pointed out here. So yeah, again, whether I skipped or didn't skip any CAT topic, I think that is something that is a very dangerous sort of question that I'm not going to touch here. I'm not going to put forward anything right now, because it's something that gives you some sort of a comfort, and this is not sort of comfort that you must be looking currently. Maybe if what I would like to suggest is, if you want to skip some of your topics, then you have to just work hard on the other topics that you're currently doing. But you should not go about asking like people that which topic that could be skippable, because it's all on you. But if I had to give an answer, I just tried to cover almost all topics that are out there. There was not any particular topic that I skipped, but even if I would have suggested you the same. I know the answers, but during the exam, I make a lot of mistakes. So yes, this is another critical point that I wanted to put forward. An intelligent person and a calm person in a CAT or ZAT exam, it is not very clear to say that which one of them would get more marks of same level if both are. But in CT or intelligent person in tight scenarios. So this is, you must be able to understand that if you are able to do that, just try to stay calm and figure out why you are doing those mistakes, and just try to reduce that as much as possible. So this would be my advice: how to tackle topics which are your weakness. Again, just practice. There's no magical rule against it. Practice and try to see what are the best methods that have been provided out there, whether it be on internet or by TTP mentors. This is the only way it's out there. There's no magical word that I could speak that would completely change it in one day. It's practice. Flukes, see, there is a reason that they are called flukes. I used to mark B and C. I felt that that's a safer one. I think Anay could also chip in later on, but I don't think that there is any proper way of suggesting. But mine was B and C.
Yeah, so in
So
this one thing I wanted to add here, we've actually made a video on YouTube about this, how to mark guesses. And I'd suggest watching this in the last week of your prep. It's kind of just, if there are 5 options, instead of, I used to honestly, if I didn't have a choice, I would mark a C or a B. Again, those are two of the, it's just a mental thing. Just select any letter and mark it. But that's your last resort. Before that, I want you to take the 5 options and reduce it to 4 options, reduce that to 3 options, reduce that to 2 options if you can, using the numbers that you see in the options in the question. If you get that, then you'll increase your chance of getting a fluke right in any case. So you just want to reduce, even if you reduce it from 5 to 4, you're going from 20 to 25%. And then if you reduce it more, 33% directly. So you can increase your odds of getting something right by first eliminating and then randomly marking. So do that. That's a bit smarter in my opinion.
yeah, so I think keeping up with time, I think I would take just a few of the questions that is there. So no, there are no sectional cutoffs that is there. The topic which I found the most difficult, I'm giving the masterclass on that only. So I think that may be a little bit motivational for you. LR used to be a really tough topic. I will explain to you why it was really tough. And this was one last question that I'm just going to take about. That's why I done it. So what was your, just a second. Yeah. So what was your strategy on D-Day and what questions selected mostly in round 1 and how much time you completely in the first round of questions? So again, see that the thing was for me, instead of round wise, because the round strategy is really good. But for me, I chose the 40-30 strategy. So the 40-30 strategy is attempting 40 questions in 30 minutes. So I was able to try to increase that as much as possible in the exam day. That is trying to complete 40 or maybe more than 40 questions in the 30 minutes and try, if there is not able to do it, then the next 30 minutes try to do more of them. So this was my D-Day strategy. So I think now I will go to the questions, and later on if there'll be some more pressing questions that I feel, then I would come back to it. So is my screen visible?
Yep, we can see it.
Yeah. So first topic that I'm going to talk about is syllogism. Syllogism is a topic that is really liked by CET. There are significant questions that are asked about it, and it is not really extremely tough, but there are few basic understanding that you must have about syllogism. So basically, there is some, there is all, some is not, and none. So these two are distributed and these are not distributed. So what I want to say is that distributed is if A to B it is mentioned, then B to A also the same thing will work. Oh, just a minute. My bad. This is something that I used to do a lot. Yeah. So some and none. Some is not and all. So yeah. So basically, it is something like that. If some A is B, then some B will also be A. For example, if some genius people have cracked CET, it means that some people that have cracked CET in the past, they have to be genius. Now let us say, in the none example also it is like that, that if none of A is B, then none of B would be A. For example, it's a funny example, but okay. So none of the male engineers have girlfriend. So it would mean that none of the people that have girlfriend must be male engineers. So this is the thing that it is there. I'm not talking about the authenticity of mathematics that I mentioned, but it is quite consistent. Now coming back to the main topic. So basically I wanted to understand is these two things are distributed. And since they are distributed, what happens is when one is and one is there, then the other cannot be there. This is also a relation between the two. That is, if you negate some, you get none. For example, some of my friends would come to the party. If this is false, that is the negative of it would mean that none of my friends would come to the party. Or if I want to write the converse of it, then it would mean that none of none of the none of the friends that I had met would get a top rank in the exam. If that is false, it means that some of the friends that I had met would get a top rank. So this is the distributed thing that is out there, and the relation between some and none. Now let us go to the second part, that is sum is not. Now the sum is not here. A to B would not mean B to A. That will not be there. For example, that sum of A is not B. It does not mean then sum of B would not be A. There may be a possibility that B would be completely inside of A, or B could be like completely uh, not part of A. So you cannot tell anything about it. That some of my friends don't like to party. So all now the party goers and friends, you cannot make a relationship here. Though that is the basic thing that I just wanted to put out here is, and same goes for all. Now all A are B. It doesn't mean that all B would be A. It would mean that some of B would be A. And this also brings me to a very important point that you must notice. Some may be all. This you must always understand, because they always ask that is there a possibility, and questions like that. That for example, some of the people that are attending today's masterclass CET and reach JBIMS. In this statement, there is no place mentioned that maybe some of you would miss out. It just means that some of you will reach JBIMS, but there's also a possibility that all of you would reach JBIMS. So this is these are the important factors that you must always remember before solving syllogism. And if you are able to understand this, then most of the part you will find easy in the exams. Now just let me go back to the question that is out there. Yeah. So in the question that is mentioned is 0% frocks are pants. Now 0%, it is just there to confuse you, or not used out there. But the thing is that 0% is same as none. So let us see how we'll go about in doing this question in the exam. So first we'll create a frog. This is frogs and this is pants. So these two will be completely exclusive to each other. Now all shorts are frogs. So all the shorts that are out there would be frogs. So it will be inside frogs. So this we'll get there. So these are shorts, these are frogs, and these are pants. A few jackets are pants. Now, this means there will be some section which we make jackets. Okay. Now, we don't know anything about jackets. Not jackets. Rain jackets could be completely inside here, completely inside fan, or completely inside the pants. We don't know anything about jackets. We only know a few jackets are pants. Now, let me complete this question. Then I'm going to also introduce you to an important factor that is asked in the exam, and you should completely by heart it and note it down, which I'm going to mention after this. So now let us see what are the conclusions that are mentioned. So the conclusion that is mentioned is not a single pant in short. Yes, because shorts are completely inside the frocks. And since 0% frocks are pants, that is 0% pants are frocks. So it means that first part would be correct. That is not a single pant is short. Now, some of the jackets are not frocks. Again, we don't know anything about jackets except for the fact that some of them are pants. So what they are saying here is some of the jackets are not frocks. So if the some of the jackets are pants, which means they cannot be frocks. So at least this part we can say with certainty. So since we can say this with certainty, that means that this will also follow. So the correct answer will be both 1 and 2 follows. So these things you must take into consideration that what they are saying and each and every factor that they mention and break it down into sub factors and not try to create more than what is mentioned. For example, here people just tend to do what I'm trying to tell you is how in exam people just mess about things. Now here there is mentioned that a few jackets are pants. People try to now create more circle, like how the more circle will look like. So that is nothing that is not required. You only draw Venn diagrams which you can talk about with certainty. And with certainty, we talked about that there are a few jackets that are pants. So this is the only part we need to draw, and the rest of the part we don't need to draw because we can't say anything by certainty. I hope this example is clear, and the conclusion is also clear about it. Now, the important question part that I want you to all note down. This is extremely important because many times people can get confused with it, because this is a very important thing that I have seen in exams that is mentioned as well. So that is only a few. Only a few is equals to conditional. So you must understand that if I say that only a few people that I have met are ones that are of good heart, it means that some of them have good heart, but not all. This is a conditional sum where all part is removed. If it is saying that if here it would have said that only a few jackets are pants, then with certainty we would have also been able to know, we didn't have to draw anything else, but we would have known with certainty that all jackets can not be pants, because it is mentioned that only a few jackets are pants. So this is a very important concept, and I want everybody to note it down, because in exams people can really mess it up. So this I hope that you don't mess it up, and hopefully note it down. Now let us see the next part that is out there. Yeah. Okay. So now we'll just utilize the knowledge that we had gained in the previous part and see that how it will be utilized in sum. Okay. So it is saying that some printers are scanners. So you create printers, as I mentioned, and only some of them are scanners. So these are scanners. Okay. Now they are talking about scanners. So instead of just moving it further and doing things like that, what I did was, you could again do it in the traditional way of just moving it around and then adding the microphone part, but it gets a little bit tricky. So what I used to do was, I used to divide the diagrams in the exam. So now scanners, some scanners are microphones. Okay. So some scanners are microphones, some printers are scanners. Okay. Many microphones. Again, never get confused with some and many. They are like, oh, many is there, that some, many, they are all same thing. Some, many, few. This is just there to confuse you. Okay. This is not anything else. Just don't get confused. But remember, always look out for the word only if it's there. Okay. Now, what is mentioned here is many microphones are speakers. So microphones are speakers. Now, speakers are not mentioned before any place. So speakers are not mentioned before at any place, and everything is here is some. So we can say that microphone can be anything. Sorry, speakers can be anything with regards to scanners and printers. Now let us what they have mentioned. Some printers are speakers. Okay. Some printers are speakers, yes, possible. Not a single printer is speaker. Possible. Now, here, why now the concept that we learned in the start, that some negative is none. So these two create a sort of a universal set, as I mentioned. So if both of them are a possibility, which means that either this would work or this would work, but none of them simultaneously. So in these cases where you get a pair like this, generally the answer is either 1 or 2. This is something you could do really fast as well, but I would always suggest to go this fashion, because there can be some inconsistencies with the logic that they must have been asking. But if you know that logic and you have less time, always look for pairs, because in more than 50% of the cases when they have mentioned a pair like this, some not, or some of this is not and all, then generally it is either 1 or 2 type of case. So this is our answer. By the way, these things, that sort of diagrams that I'm drawing, I find it really optimal. And again, I would not want you to just completely change your strategy, because the exams are really it may happen in few days. Again, nothing is certain, but if it happens in few days, it would really be a very strange thing to do. But at least keep it in the back of the mind. If you are able to get adjusted to it, it's really going to be helpful to you. Yeah. So seating arrangement, there are 2 types. One is the linear one, and the other is circular. So first we are going to look about is the circular one. Now in the circular, there is a very important concept of this symmetry. If there are even number of people. Again, in odd number of people, that symmetry will not exist. Symmetry only exists with even number of people, because if there is even number of people, then this side and this side will have same number of people. But in case of odd, So if we take this 2 as the top, this side has 2, this side has 3. So this is not balanced. So you have to see for symmetries. If you see that there are even number of people given, and in our example there is how many? 8 people. So yes, even number of people are there. So we would look for and try to find more and more symmetries in these questions. It will be really helpful for you in exams. I'm telling you, symmetries in circular really can reduce your time by a lot, and this would give you like a champion's edge, if you could say, in exam. Now let us see. So 8 people, A, B, C, D are women. So women, A, B, C, D. Men are P, Q, R, S. So men are P, Q, R, S, and women are A, B, C, D. Now this is also balanced for each. So now again in this case there will be another symmetry if they mention something more related to it. Okay. Sit around circle of is it facing towards the center. Always see if this is mentioned or not. This can completely be really, it could deter you a lot if you don't see this, because you would be solving your paper, and after solving it for like 1 or 2 minutes, you would suddenly find that it was not mentioned towards the center, or half is center and half is away from center, and then going back, it just really just the momentum breaks and it really becomes really complex for you. In that cases, I would also suggest, if you are feeling that there's lots of hotspots that is out there, just mark few of the answers and go forward. Don't let yourself get confused a lot, and don't let the completely momentum break. But if you see that, okay, I would take 30 seconds to just remove the things, then okay, just remove what all the mistakes you have mentioned and just go about solving it. But please don't just make it an ego problem. Again, never make an question an ego problem. There are lots of questions there. There's lots of time that you have to solve them. Don't make 1 or 2 questions an ego problem. Let it be. That is also a very important thing. Initially, I was not able to do, and that also really impacted me a lot in the mocks. So that only I'm trying to explain to you. Don't make it an ego thing. But if you have confidence in you, then don't also just get completely scared. Don't get scared. Maybe there will be only 1 or 2 steps that you have to go forward. Go backward. Okay. Now it is mentioned that none of the women sit as immediate neighbor. Now, since it is symmetrical in nature, so if none of the women are neighbors, it would also mean that none of the men are. This sort of symmetrical knowledge is really important, because in cyclic things, these things really help you start making sense of things at the start. Now, again, one more thing that I would do in examinations is try to just create one center and move about it. And I also do one thing. I always make 2 of them. Generally, 2 of them are enough, and I create 2 of them because there are multiple cases that come in there, and one of the cases at the end of the problem gets negated, and the second one is correct, and the other one is correct one, and we just smoothly able to solve it. Because in middle, if you just put slash around each and everything, there's lots of chances of error out there, and it will really get complex for you. So this is something that I used to do in exam. So again, now you put women, men, women, men, women, men, women, men. Again, women, men, women, men, women, men, women. So we just take an arbitrary one of the women here. We can, because there is nothing mentioned about this. This is just an arbitrary point. So just take an arbitrary. I used to take the A or 1 sort of thing, because it's really helpful to put that here. And I put it here. You could also put the arbitrary point here, but these are the 2 pointers I would say that you should choose as the arbitrary start point, not these. It would just complicate the things more. So taking arbitrary point, either take the topmost point or take the bottommost point. I feel bottommost point for me has been more comfortable, so I take the bottom one. If you take the top one, it doesn't change a lot. So yeah, let us now go forward with the question. Now A is not facing B. Now A is facing a woman and it is not B, so it must be C or D. So here we put C and here we put B. Now we have got the 2 cases, and accordingly we will move about in these 2 cases. If there is further some cases that would be required, then we have to decide that whether we would put a slash here and take those 2 as sub cases, or we would put slash in the other things that I mentioned. Let us go about and see if that is required. Q, who is immediate neighbor of C. Now Q can be here or here. Here we don't know anything about Q. Faces P. Now Q faces P. So it would mean that R would face S. This is the symmetrical thing that really helped us, because say Q is here, so P would be here, so other place would be also be facing each other, and that would be RS. So this is something that is these are the hidden infos they give. These are the hidden infos that they provide to us, and if you are able to just be calm about it and solve properly, then you will be able to catch these hidden infos that are out there. Okay. Now, R is an immediate neighbor of D, but not of C. So R, if R is there, then C would be here. If R is there, then C would be, sorry. Yeah. So if R is here, C would be here. R is here, C would be here. And for the other parts, that is what we know. Now, here is the very crucial information that is there, which would help us more. D does not sit second to the right of C. Now, this is crucial because we only know one of C or D. But as soon as we put the other one, we would also know about B, because that's the only other woman that is out there. As soon as we are able to set the 3 women, we will be able to put the 4th woman, and mostly because the informations about others are aligned in certain way, we will be able to solve the other things. But at least for the women's, this part will completely solve everything. Now let us see how it will solve. Now D does not sit second to the right of C. So C stop, yeah. So the right goes like this. So for right it will be. So D cannot be here. D does not sit second to the right of C. So this is not D. So D has to be there. And this will be B. And D, now this D cannot be second to the right of C. So C cannot be here. So here will be C. B. Now, at least one person sits between A and R. Okay. So this means that R cannot be here. These places cannot be R. R is immediate neighbor, and what we have known about R? R is immediate neighbor of D, but not of C. So R would be here. But here we are saying that at least one person sits between A and R, and there is no person that is sitting between A and R. So this case goes away. Now, we will only focus on the other case that is out there. Now, here, yeah, R is an immediate neighbor of D, but not of C. So R would go here, and this follows the thing that was mentioned about A and B. And now just look at the hidden, how hidden information has helped us now. Now we can easily put S here. And for Q and P, Q, who is immediate neighbor of C, Q, neighbor of C, and our question is solved. So always look out for these hidden informations, and these hidden informations really help us solve these questions in a very effective manner. If you don't look out for these hidden informations, you will not be able to make pairs as efficiently and as precisely or as fast as I've done here. And then it will become really complicated, and in exam time you don't want to do that. So try to find symmetry and pairs with that come with that symmetry. Okay. Now let us see who is immediate right of S. So who is immediate right of S? A. So that is correct answer. And what is mentioned here again about after that? Who sits in front of D? In front means opposite. This is also something that you must know. You should not get confused by in front meaning. In front something may mean something else in some other really strange cases, but in 95% of the cases, or especially in these sorts of circular things, it will mean opposite. Okay. So who sits in front of B? Who sits in front of B? C. Correct answer. So yeah. So this is how we would have to tackle the circular permutation, arrangement that is out there in exams in an effective fashion. Now, this is also a very, 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 very liked section of CET, coding, decoding. And there is one sort of coding, decoding this, and one little tricky one. That is the next one that I'm going to mention. And that tricky one is something that I used to be really scared about. That's why I said at the start of the session that LR was my little bit of confusing section, because that is something that I really felt that it is really some sort of there is some confusion that I'm not able to do, or I said that it's really too complex. So what I used to do in the initial phases was, okay, just skip this. I will go play with my strength. That's it. But after, when the exam days was nearing, like in the last month, I said that, okay, this is not something that I could do, because exams are really not exactly properly mentioned. That is out there, that if of this part, this much questions would be coming. If you get unlucky, the section that you must have skipped, they may put lots of questions. That's why at the start I mentioned not to think like that, because in CET things like this happen, that they may give questions which are not which you may not, the section that you may have skipped, they may question like bundle of questions there. Then what will you do? The just confidence gets shattered in that sort of situation. So that's why, because the sections are unbalanced, you must look at the things. But this is something that is really prominent out there. So now let us just focus on it as of now. So here it is. This is not me. You don't have to read all of this. These questions you have to generally, this type of coding decoding, not the next one. This sort of coding decoding, you just solve from the questions and options. Questions and sometimes options, sometimes not. But from the questions you go about it. You don't have to read everything and then see the question. Okay, so this is something that you must also know. So what is the code for me according to the given code language? So first we will find where the me is there. Here me is there. Here me is there. Now then we'll see that is there any other word that is common in the two. This is not common, is not common, not is not common. So this means that these two sentences will have only one thing that would be common here. And here we see that is PT. So here our question is solved. The answer is PT. No confusion, no time wasting, straightforward solving. You don't have to get confused by it. These are not very complex question, but you don't have to just be lethargic while solving these questions. You have to be proactive, and by being proactive meaning finding the most optimal solution in a very efficient and fast manner. So this is the fastest way you could do it. As you've seen that even after explaining so much to you, it has barely taken me a minute, and exam time it takes me hardly few seconds to solve these questions. So this is how you go about it. Now let us see what is the next part of it. Which word is for which word MN stands according to David Goldman. So MN. Now we'll find where MN is mentioned. MN is mentioned here and here. Now, is there anything common? V is common here? No. RT is common here? No. QS is common here? No. MN is mentioned any place else? No. So it means that there'll be only one word that is common here, and we see that is U. And that is our answer. That is the answer. That's it. Now, this is something that really used to terrify me. I used to see that, oh, what is this @ F36 9 year क्या हो रहा है? नहीं समझना भाई, आगे बढ़ो. This is really something that people do, and I would say that is a second most efficient strategy. You are wasting your time, and you are not wasting your time, and you're skipping something that you think that you'll not be able to solve. The most efficient strategy, but is to solve it in a very optimal fashion. And I'm just going to explain to you how it is not that tough. And I would just ask you to note these few things down, because these are absolute favorites of these. You see that most of the time it will always revolve around these things that I'm going to mention, these words. Please note each and every word down that I'm going to mention. These are just gold dust words. Okay. Vowels. Digital. Square. Arrangement. General. Sum. Diff. Alternating. Removal. Generally, everything that is going to be out there in all these complex things, generally it will all revolve around these things only: vowels, digital sum, square, arrangement, general sum and difference, alternating, alternative, alternate, and removal. Now, keeping these, I'm giving you a few seconds so that at least everybody surely notes these down, because all these words, you just note these down, and let us see that how true are this to what we are going to solve. This is not something that you must note, but this is something to note. After that, there is some miscellaneous thing that 90 to 95%, if we are able to find the things that are out there, it doesn't mean that 100% of the things we are able to find. So sometimes some miscellaneous activities must be that would be happening, and if you find it, it's well and good. But if none of these none of these things you are able to see, and you are not able to see some miscellaneous directly efficiently, then I would suggest to just not waste your time and use the second most efficient strategy of leaving and going ahead. That would just save you a lot of time in the exam. But if you know these, there is 90% of the chance you would be able to use the most efficient strategy, that is solving it correctly in a very short span of time. Okay. So let us see. That is, there is first is $, $, hashtag. So just these are some symbols that they mention. So let us see that in these symbols, how many symbols are there? One is $, one is $, $, hashtag, $, hashtag, $, $, and $. So there are 5 symbols. Now we'll go back to this. What was the first thing that I mentioned specifically? Vowels. What are the other things that are 5? Vowels. So there's a significant chance, or not significant, almost certainly, that E symbol would correspond to a certain vowel. Now let us see that how it is happening. So for that, we would just see 2 common same symbols, and for the third we will use as whether for certainty it is working or not. So at the rate, here it is A and I. Again, A and I just doesn't give me any clarification. Let us go for the other end. That is high. So HIGS. So I. So mostly at the rate should be I. Now let us take another end and see that whether it is clearly happening or not. So at the rate here is I. Now, but why they are choosing I here when A is also there? What is common between lavish, high, and humanity in the placement of I? So very curious thing that will just help us in solving other symbols without just testing more, by just testing one time. That is, I is the final vowel. I is the final vowel. I is the final vowel that is out there. So I is the final vowel out there. Now let us see for $, what would be lifestyle. So E must be the final vowel here. Then for hashtag, it would be seldom. O. I don't have to test now because I have tested it for 1. If it's working for 1, it will work for it. This is not some extremely high immortal level of questions. This is some very consistent level of thing that they are going to do. It's working for it. It's going to work for all. Just have clarity of thought in exam. That's what I'm saying. Test for 1 and then apply for all. Test for 1 but properly, so that you'll be able to apply for all. Now, $. Where was it? Yeah. So it will be heart. A. This was O. Sorry, my writing may not be that legible. So last must be U. And we could say check also, but you don't have to push time. That push is used there. So we are able to find the first thing. Congratulations. You are able to solve. Now, 16, 36, 9, 16. Now again, let us go to the table that was mentioned here. Square. We clearly see that 16, 36, 9, 16, 25, 30, 16, 16, 9, 25, 9, 9, 9, 25, 9, 9, 9. These are all squares. So let us see that how these numbers are getting. So this is square of 4. So what 4 are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it must be the consonants. So just test it for one more. High, it is 1, 2, 3. So it must be 9. So first is the symbol, and second thing is square of number of consonants. So we got the first part, we got the second part. These two parts we got. Now we are going to look at what is the last this symbol. I, D, T, H, H, F, F, G, G, E, G, G, E, E, D. There's no some consistently that is out there. There's no vowel as such. There are vowels and consonants. So here we are going to what we are going to do is we are just seeing that there is this general sum and difference, and sum and difference is something that they like a lot. So let us just generally sum this. How many letters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6. A, B, C, D, E, F. F is the 6th letter. Wow. Is this that they are doing? Let us go for lifestyle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I. E, F, G, H, I. Yes, I is the 9th one. So this is fitting in the first go, but sometimes this sum could be the sum of consonants, sum of the values of vowels. That is why I just would want you to note this down. A, E, I, O, U. 1, 5, 9, 20. Just by heart these numbers. This is the position of A, E, I, O, U, and the number. That is the first letter, E is the 5th letter, I is the 9th, O is the 15th, and U is the 21st. This is something that you must by heart, and it will just, it's not such a huge deal. Okay, I will never suggest you to just by heart really complex things. Everything that, as you have seen before also, I am only trying to explain to you that things have to be not that things that would be there will not be that complex, and you would not have to by heart really complex things. But those things which I'm asking you to by heart, you must by heart, and these are really simple things, and it will just help you simplify these things which are really otherwise pretty complex in nature. So just now with this is what we have solved, and then we will solve the question that is out there. Efficient worker. So again, so the first thing would be the last that is out there, that is E and E. So what was this associated with the dollar? Again, this also helps you a lot. You know that this and this is dollar. You see that only this option is working, but none of these is also there. So unfortunately, you have to solve. Again, there will be a possibility that that it would work, but then again, I would not suggest to you to not solve it. Okay. Again. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Sorry, it was mentioned as square of consonants. Okay, I thought I did some sort of mistake there. So yeah, it was square of consonants. So then we see that number of consonants is F, I is not a consonant, C, third, 3, and T. So 25. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 16. Mostly this would be the right answer, but again, since none of these is there, I would not suggest to you to just skip it. I'm just sorry. I would just say to you to just hold on to it and solve it. It's really tedious and frustrating, but that's the thing that is there. Efficient 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is I, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is F. So that is the correct answer. So this is the most efficient way of solving this in the least amount of time. So this is how we would go about this section. I hope you have noted these down. These are really important, and because I'm still giving you a few seconds to just note this down again. I'm just spending a few more seconds on this slide to note the important ones that is mentioned above. And then we'll go later. Yeah. Okay. This is the second part. This was the part I never used to do in the initial part of my preparation. This is something that I never used to do because I felt that this is like, what the hell? This is what strange thing is happening. What is this harpon? And this was potent. What is this? This is random 1631. These are very complex, strange numbers. Like, what is there? I was like, what to do with these things now? But with the tools that I mentioned to you, let us see that it would work or not. Okay. So first word is potent, Clemens, Carpont, Foucault, and Dosick. Now here Arpon is there. Now this is the strategy that I imply. There is other strategies that are also out there, which I would suggest that you could do. That is, people just test this way and try to then test this, and if it doesn't adds up, or if there is no logical consistency they find, then they go the method that I'm going to mention. But I suggest that the second mention is something that maybe works out in better fashion, but it's your choice. So what I do is I see that if I could find something with the consistency of Arpon. First, we see that the first word, if there is something Arpon is there, potent, no. Clemens, no. Carpont. Now I see that there is Arpon here. And as we have seen before, as you can see, removal. An important factor that is out there, removal. So here removal part is happening. So in this, the first and the last word is getting removed. So let us see that is the same thing happening for the others. Hauchi. Yes. Here Hauchi is there. D and G is removed. Lemon. Here K and S is removed. O10. Here P and T is removed. Ruka. Here F and R is removed. And UCH, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce. FLS is removed. Now we see that how are these arranged then? A, B, C, D, E, E, F, G, H. This is how. This is also you can do. This is something that I do it. It's really helpful for me. And I do it in the set of 5:5 and then last word. Circling the orbits that are there. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. So they have, in the step one, first they have removed the first and the last letter, and then they have arranged it in the center of the placement of the alphabets that are out there. So this is how they have done it in this example. Now 16 and 31. See, these two numbers only are so strange because generally we have been attuned of using either or, others are all even. This is odd. 31 is really a prime number as well. We can't find some sort of square also. This sum also we don't think is there, but another tool that we mentioned before, what we said was look at vowels. Is and I asked you to specifically note down all the values of A, E, I, O, U. Now you'll see that how effective it is here. A 1, O is 15, 16. Now, if it is working for one, you could test it for another one. It will work for throughout them. Again, understand, you have to optimize your time as much as you can. Find one, test for another, it will work for one. How chi? A, U, I. A, U. 1, 9, 10, 10, 21, 31. So this is how they are doing it. That is, they are giving us in the step 2 the sum of vowels. This is the step 2 that is out there. 37, 10. Again, these numbers are not looking something, but now look at the digital part of it. 1 square plus 6 square is 37. Is it working for the next one? 3 square plus 1 square, that is 10. So it will work for all. You don't have to just waste your time. You can see, but this is not, that would not be an optimal thing to do. So I would suggest you not to do it. So in the third step, what they are doing is each digit square and then sum. Okay. And now this is like really simple that you could see that it is arranged in ascending order. Now 19 and 49. Let us see what is the sum of 19 and 68. What is the sum of this? 1, 4, 5, 5, 8, 5, 16, 21, 21, 31, 68. So 68. So in some, there will be some arrangement that would be leading to 19 and 49. There's an important, let us see alternating works or not. 1, 8, 10. The sum is 19, so the other sum must be 49. So that is, the first part is sum of the sum of the odd placed in numbers, and the other part would be sum of the evenly placed. See, it must be looking like, oh, like this must be seen before, and no, these are very standard rules. And in most of the cases, it's going to work. Please just focus on this, and it will really help you out. I'm just telling you that this is something that will give you a decisive advantage, because most candidates out there either waste time here or use the second most optimum strategy. Second most optimal strategy. You could just create the necessary advantage for you by using the concepts that are out there that I mentioned during these two parts. That's why I just emphasized to you, note all of those down, because those are very important, very, very, very important. As you can see how efficiently and in a fast fashion you are able to just decipher this, and then you could just really solve it also in a fast fashion. But now Now you don't have to just completely just solve the input to the output. You just look for the questions that are out there. There'll be 5 questions generally that they would be mentioning, and you just solve by each questions that they mentioned. So again, find the difference between the numbers obtained in the final step. Again, okay, so that's really unfortunate that they have asked for the final step, because for final step we will have to solve this completely. Okay, so it will just take time. I think I would be able to give you more concept, but it will all follow this trajectory only. If we have time, I would come back, because it is just solving and just writing it down. It is nothing, no hard and fast trick or things would be involved. We have already done what all we have to do. We have to just again do it. So it's just a tedious thing. That's why I'm not doing it, because I feel that we could cover. But if we get the time at the end, I will surely solve this as well. Again, before solving, I just wanted to uh, see that if okay. Again, okay, I was just looking through chat. I didn't looked at before. So okay, so again, and we will just talk about it. Let us continue with what we have mentioned so far, because there are a few of the concepts that I wouldn't want like majority of you to skip. So I'm just currently looking at solving this. Then we'll again go about looking on the chat and everything. But just first we just solve it. So again, this is the little bit easier mode of those two, because generally in the numbers one you will be able to see that this is just arranging descending. Generally it will be like that. Sometime it would be some complicated fashion, but it would mostly be one of the things that I mentioned before, and some miscellaneous things would be there, like instead of digital and then squaring, it would be digital and just finding the digital sum, or the digital then cubing, or just differences. So just play around with that concept. What I'm saying, it will just cover it all, and if it's not covering, then just skip it. You are so for every question you will be using either the most efficient strategy or the second most efficient strategy. That is the point that I'm trying to make. Again, here it is 75, 06, 26, 03, 29, 91, 62, 58. That is 91. So 91 is the largest, it came forward, then 75, and then 06, 26, 3, 29, 62, 58. So yeah. So these are not changing. Only the largest one is coming forward. In the next step, 91 was already there. Second largest, 75 was already there. So just 62 came forward, and others are like that. So yeah. So what they are doing is they are arranging in the descending order, and if a number is already arranged, they are going to the next position. That is in the step 2. Since the second position was already arranged, they went to the third position, and then fourth position, fifth position, and then sixth position, and then 60 was already arranged. So step 5 became our final step. It does not mean that step 5 will always be the final steps. See, that's why they have said in this case the device stops at step 5. These are the sanity checks that you would have to do in the exam. In this case, sometimes there will be different cases and it would give different values. Here, in this case, it is mentioned. So in this case, you have to look forward to it. And this is how it is going forward. That is arrangement in the descending order. And if it is already arranged, then going to the next position. So which of the following is the step 3 of the input? So again, the first step would be to get the 31. Then it would be to get the 29 number. And then it would be 22 would not be already arranged because 4 was here. So then would be 22. To 39, 31, 29, 22. Only here it is there, but none of the above is also there. So again, see, in 90% of the chances, this would be the answer. But I would always suggest to you, please just give 5 to 10 seconds more and just look for the other ones, because it will be really frustrating for you if you find later that the answer was none of the above. I know it would be really tempting, and most of the time it would work. I'm just telling you, most of the time this would work. That 3922, 2922, there's no place else. This must be the answer. But for those cases where you just miss out because of 5-10 seconds, I think it's not a good enough gamble. But if you are in a very time crunch, I would suggest that this is how you could just mark it. I will just solve the later part as well. So later on, 4 will not move from its position, so 4 will be there. Then 18 will not move from its position, then 18 will be there. 29 has moved, 31 has moved, 22 has moved, 16 will be there, 11 will be there, and 03 will be there. So it will be 31, 29, 22, 4, 18, 16, 11, 03. So that will be the correct answer. Pretty straightforward. These questions are more straightforward. The previous ones which I mentioned, those require those special rules, more I would say, more depth. But once you know that those rules, you would just get a very decisive advantage in exams. That's only what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Actions is more of you are familiar with it. It's just putting it here, there. So I'm just skipping it for now. If time permits, we would go back to here, because it's nothing. Just you have to just put the one value here to just create multiple diagrams, as I mentioned for the Venn diagram. It just is the same way it works. So there's not a very tricky thing that is there. If time permits, we will surely come back to it. So I will just mark it. Directions. If the time permits, we would come back to it. Yeah, clocks and calendars. So clocks and calendars. This question, the first question, is really like I was really happy when I was thinking about this question, because you will see why I was so happy. But basically, there are a few things that you need to know in clocks and calendars. First is, every minute, the minute hand moves by 6 degrees. Every minute, the hour hand moves by 0.5 degree. So in 60 minutes, it would move by 3 degree. Let us see. In 12 hours, 720 minutes, 1 by 2, 20, yeah, 360 degree, yeah. Yeah, basically, because in 12 hours, it moves 360 degrees. So yeah, it is 0.5 degrees. 0.5 degrees, hour hand moves. So every minute, the hour hand and minute hand, 5.5 degree change occurs. Why I'm mentioning this 5.5 degree, you will know. So in 1440 minutes, 1440 minutes means, no, okay, let me tell you in a reverse fashion. So if 5.5 degree change occurs, so they would always coincide when 360 degree change has occurred. So 360 by 5.5. This will be the number of minutes after which each of the time they will have same angle again, or they will coincide. If they are coinciding, then after 720 by 11 minutes, they would coincide again. Why this value is important? Because there's a very prominent question that is being thrown out and about in lots of times, which is very easy, but people who don't know, they waste their time on it. That is, how many times the clocks coincide in 24 hours? You know, they coincide 720 by 11 after every 720 by 11 minutes. This you know. Number of minutes here is 1440. 2, this 11 goes here, that's 22. the correct answer. Just note it down in your mind. Change occurs every 720 by 11 minutes. Every 720 by 11 minutes, there will be same angle, or the clocks, the hands of the minute and hour will coincide again. Please note these things down. This would be really important from the exam basis. If you're not, please note this part down. 24 hours and 22. This is really extremely important. In 24 hours, 22 minutes, 22 times the hour and minute hand coincide, because this is a direct question. You know this. You will do it in 3-4 seconds. Somebody who doesn't know it, he will waste a lot of time, even maybe 2 minutes, and may not be able to get the correct answer. This is the edges that you need to get consistently to just overpower them. So just note this down. Note each of the things down that I mentioned here. In 1 minute, 6 degree minute hand moves. In 1 minute, 0.5 degree hour hand moves. That is, in 1 minute, 5.5 degree change occurs between the minute and hour hand. In 720 by 11 minute, the angle between hour hand and minute hand will again become the same. And in 24 hours, 22 times, the hour and minute hand would meet each other. Okay. Now, now let's look at this question. I will solve it, then I will ask you a question. Please give me slides to that. It will be really helpful. You will see why. So a clock is set right time at 5 a.m. Okay, at 5 a.m. it is set at right time. The clock loses 16 minutes in 24 hours. Okay. So that is when it is actually, it will be 5 a.m. The clock would be showing 4:44 a.m. next day. It would have lost 16 minutes. Losing time means this. That only I want to say. The correct time when it would be 5 a.m., the clock would be showing 4:44. Okay. Then it is saying, then what will be the true time when the clock indicates 10 p.m. on 4th day? Okay. So this is the first day, by the way. 4th day, you must not think that you will be multiplying by 4. This is the first day, 5 a.m. Second day, 5 a.m. will be 24 hours. Third day, 5 a.m. will be 48 hours. So accordingly, okay. So 4th day, 5 a.m. will be 72 hours. Then after that, 10 means 22. So that is, we will okay. So but 10 p.m. is indicating. So we would have to, this is getting complicated now, because actual this things would work on actual time. But here it is 10 p.m. So we don't know now how we have to go about it. It gets a little bit messy now, because then it would be like after this hour, this much move away. So it has become complex. Now, let me tell you how you'll get a decisive advantage in exam. Okay. In 24 hours, you are losing 16 minutes, right? This is the 4th day. So second day it was 16 minutes. So third day it would be 48 minutes. Now, sorry, for the second day it was 16. Third day it would be 32 minutes. Fourth day it would be 48 minutes. Now it is after 5 a.m. and the 5th day has not started. So it would be somewhere between 48 minutes and 64 minutes. Correct. Now all the values are given is hours. So it must mean that 60 minutes would be lost. Please listen very carefully what I'm saying. Okay, I will repeat it again. In 24 hours, they are losing 16 minutes. That is, on the next day, 5 a.m., 16 minutes would be lost. On the third day, 5 a.m., 32 minutes would be lost. On the fourth day, 5 a.m., 48 minutes would be lost. Since it is fourth day, 10 p.m., that is the time that would be lost would be between 48 minutes and 64 minutes. Why 64 minutes? On the fifth day, the time would lost would have been 64 minutes, but it is somewhere in between. So the time would be somewhere in between. And since in the options, the answers are all in PM, 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 no minutes is mentioned. That is, so it must mean that only 60 minutes lost could be the only possible conclusion out there. I've repeated it and I've mentioned it very slowly because it's a very efficient trick for solving this question, and those who don't know it will not be able to solve this question. That's it. Not be able to solve this question. They would just mark something and hope for the best. 60 minutes is lost, 10 p.m. is there, so plus 60 minutes, 11 p.m. answer. That's it. Such a complex thing it would have been that 60 minutes, 24 hours, we don't know the clock, what it is indicating, but true time, how we move about it, nothing. Just use common sense and quick thinking and logical thinking. That is all that is there in the exam. I'm just trying to tell you how efficiently you will be able to solve these questions. And this was a very important question because other ways would have really complicated it. But using simple basic logic, how efficiently we did a question, which others wouldn't have been able to do. That was my basic point of giving. That's why this was really important. This was really close to my heart. That's why the other questions that initially that I mentioned was really close to my heart. I went really deep into those because these are giving you each and every method that I'm mentioning you. They are giving you extremely decisive advantages in the exam for saving time. And that's why at the start of the session I mentioned I gave so much emphasis on the aggressiveness and time, because everything just comes about later at the end. So I hope you would have understood everything that I mentioned in this example. Then we are going to go to the next example. Okay. Now, if on 4th March 2020, day was Wednesday, then what day of the week would be 4th March of 2019? Again, this is like one of those things that you do, but let us see what is the most efficient way. February on non-leap days has 28 days. So there's a property that February 1, if has X day, March 1 will also have that X day. This is the property that we are going to apply here. And if the date that is mentioned is in a leap year of 29 days, and the date is after the 29th February, I'm repeating it very slowly. If the date is mentioned is in a leap year and the date mentioned is after 29th February, then when going back to the previous year, we minus 2 the days. Otherwise, we minus 1 the day. Clear? Just I'm repeating it once again because I feel again that this may get complex. Just listen to it very carefully. Okay. If a date is mentioned which is after 29th Feb on a leap year, then when doing calculations for which there would be XYZ in the previous year, or in the previous year, the number of days reduction would be 2. Otherwise, the days reduction would be 1 for the same date. For same date. Okay. So for 4th March 2020, if we go back to 4th March 2019, it would be 2 days minus, that is Monday. And since March and Feb follow the same logic in non-leap years, so 4th February will also be Monday. This will be Monday, and this will also be Monday. These are the things that you must understand. This was also very cool. This was, I think, felt most appropriate example of what sort of trick that they may use in CET. Otherwise, okay. This is a question that is out there for everyone. So I'm just speaking for a lot. I think you must also get chance now to mention some of your answer. So I'm going to mention some leap years. (2024), 2000, 1900, 1908, 406. I mentioned 5 years in front of you. 1406. Yeah, why not? Okay. Take time and answer me how many of these mentioned years are leap years. First is 2024. Okay. This is 2024. This is 2000, 1900, 1908, and 1406. In the next 1 minute, you can just answer it. Others can also, like, if you want, you can take a break in this 1 or 2 minutes while I just go through the answers of the others what they mentioned. So yeah, okay. 3 कहाँ से हो गया यार? 4 सब आंसर कर रहे हैं. 4, या वही 3 कौन मेंशन कर दिया है? सब 4 मेंशन कर रहे हैं, बता रही 3 क्यों कल्चर कर दिया. Can you please do the calendar question again? Okay. Just put it on chat. When we'll go back, we will just look at each and everything on the chat. Just hold. Then you have to hold on a bit after in the later on. But I will try to complete as many things again as possible. I'm just not going back again because there are lots of things, and I want you to I want to cover most of it in most efficient ways that I do, so that you just don't miss out. ये कौन 3 वाला है? अबे 4 सब मेंशन कर रहे हैं भाई. क्या 3 3 is correct. लो 3 is correct ही बोल दिया. Folks, you all are mentioning 4 and the guy is saying the 3 is correct. Come on, man. Okay, let few more answers come. 2. Oh my God. That is the most unique answer that is out there. Okay. That is also a fun answer. 3, 1908. 1908 is not there. So 1908 is, yeah. 1908, 2024, 1900, 2000, and 1406. So these are the years that I mentioned. 3 पता नहीं क्या एकदम से सब 3 करने लगे. First people were doing 4. Now they are coming back to 3. Yeah. So this is not very complex thing. I just wanted to just give you a little bit break. That's why I just asked you for the answer. 4. Yeah. Yes. अब आ रहे सही आंसर वाले लोग. 4. Okay, so last 1 minute, and then I will just go ahead and tell you. Anybody who wants to chip in the answer, or they would want to take a break, they can take a break for 1 minute, and then we'll see what it is. 1908 2000 and 2024 अरे ये तो ईयर ही मेंशन कर दिया कौन कौन से भाई ठीक है ओके so okay now we should go ahead with the session. So yeah, basically the thing that I was just wanted to mention, because this is a trick that is there and examiners use, because हम लोग को बचपन से पढ़ाया जाता था every 4th year is a leap year, or at least this is how we remember it, that every year that is a multiple of 4 is a leap year, but that is not correct. If it is multiple of 100 but not 400, it is not leap year. I'm sorry that first तरीके से लिखा है मैंने, but basically what I wanted to mention to you in all this example is 1900 is not a leap year. This is a leap year multiple by 4. 1908 is a multiple of 4. This is not a multiple of 4, so not a leap year. 2000 is a multiple of 100, but it is also a multiple of 400, so it becomes a leap year. So remember this definition, that if it is a multiple, all multiples of 4 years are leap years, but if it is a multiple of 100 but not 400, it is not a leap year. That is, in 100, 200, 300, 400, this is not a leap year, this is not a leap year, this is not a leap year, and this is a leap year. This is also a type of trick that they may put in the exams, and I want you to be prepared beforehand, so that at least this basic error you must not do. So again, now let us see what all topics we could cover. I thought I moved at a good pace, but still, like, I feel that a lot of time has passed, but I would try to finish lots of topics still. I want you to please people to just not leave if the session get extended a little bit, because the thing is, these are basic tricks that gives you very decisive advantage. I just can't mention to you how much of a decisive advantage these things are already have given you. So please just hold around. And if something that you have mentioned before in the chat, I will completely read it, and then if we'll see if we could just do something about it later. Again, blood relations is something I would want to put it in the second round, because it is something that you would be attuned with. Now, this is a good question. So again, these are the, in number series also, you would also have to look for in squares, multiple, cubes, difference, patterns, and many more things. There are many more things that are there in the number series. There is like I could tell you n number of things, but there'll be x more number of things that you would find later on. But what I would say to you in the number series is, just go through whatever things that they have mentioned in the TTP. They have covered it comprehensively, and try to cover as much as possible. But number series is something that you cannot completely cover. Like, it is just complete big whole oceans with lots of variations. So just try to practice more and more. That would be my advice. And there are few tricks that are out there in these two questions, which I found that it was really good ones, so I just chose them. But again, in the number series, I would say just keep on practicing a lot. Okay. Yeah, I'm rubbing it because it doesn't matter. I mentioned just 4 or 5 words there. It's not like it is not as concrete as the start one that I mentioned, at the 7-7-1, the sequencing and everything that would work properly. There's lots of things. Yeah. So 2, 10, 30, 68, and this number is missing. Now here there is always remember that if you don't find things in the first layer, go to the second layer. Generally, they would not ask you to go to the third layer. Generally, it will be 99% of the time, it will be fun to layer. Now, I'm going to tell you what the layers are. Now, this is nothing. Here, there is a difference of 8. In this, the difference of 8 is there. Here, nothing is there. Here, there is a difference of 20. Now, in these two numbers, there is a difference of 12. Here, there is a difference of 38. The difference is 18. So this 8, 20 and 38 are not necessarily following a pattern, but 12, 18, this is following a pattern. So we put 24 here. It will give 62. And 68 plus 62 will be 130. So our correct answer should be 130. This is the one way of knowing it. Otherwise, if you look closely, there was a very unique thing that this series was doing. I would not erase this. I would just, so that people could note it down. So yeah. So it was 1 cube plus 1 was 2. 2 cube plus 2 was 10. 3 cube plus 3 was 30. 4 cube plus 4 was 68. And 5 cube plus 5 was 130. So this is what it was doing. And again, it led to our answer to 130. But this is something that you must know, that if in the first layer of differences, you are not able to find the answer, just go to the second layer. Generally, the second layer would be enough to get the answer. But if it's not, in 1 or 2 cases, you may have to go to the third layer, but generally it is second layer. In CET level, it is second layer, but remember that there may be a case, but if you are very strong that at that third layer, you would get some concrete thing, then only go by it. Otherwise, just put something that you feel that you are having some intuition about this option, just mark that and just go forward with that. Okay. Again, I will just note it down, so I will not erase it. So now, 1, 6, 14, and question mark. This was a very unique question. Because now you could go for layers. Sometimes layers thing may not work. That was the point of giving this question. Sometimes because the multiples also are there, so multiples में के अंदर भी कुछ बीच में variation आ सकते हैं. So this is one of those examples. Now here, if you look at examples, there are 1, 2, 3 numbers that are mentioned here are in decimals. So there is a possibility that decimal thing can also come here. Now, if it's decimal coming here, you must know that there is some sort of product that is out there. But what product? If we just directly go about it, 1, 3, 6, 14. This is into 3. This is into 2. This is into some random number. What the hell is this into? Some 2 point something. So this is just hodgepodge. Wrong. This is not following a consistent pattern. Series always form for what pattern you are seeing. It means that you are not following it right. So let us just look at the differences. It is 2, 3, 8. This is a multiple of 1.5. This is some 2.66. Again, it's giving random numbers. So it's really like how you would go about it. So again, I think in this part, I think there was like okay, has any of you has gone ahead and solved this question? I just really wanted to ask you, because if somebody would have solved it, I really, and if you would have done things properly, then I would have really enjoyed. Yes. The answer is A. If we take differences, we get answer as 31. Okay. Okay. So yeah, there was one thing that I wanted to change. I 31. Yes, it may come, but this must have been coming because uh, this was something that was missed on my part. So I think just note this correction down. Please note this correction down in the final one as well. So I think this was one error that I did. This was 2. This is 2, 3, 6, and 14. Yeah, because then I was finding there was some error from my part. So my bad. This was the only error I think it is there in the paper. Most other things must be consistent, but yeah, this was the error. So what the pattern here was, this sort of pattern also is also a sort of favorite in these sorts of exams. So please just, if you want to take snip of it, if you want to note it down, just do it, just because this is also very, very fond pattern of this, okay, of CT. So okay, into 1 plus 1, 2 into 1 plus 1 is 3, 3 into 1.5 plus 1.5 is 6, 6 into 2 plus 2 is 14, 14 into 2.5 plus 2.5, that would be what, 35 and 37.5. So that would give you the correct answer. So just please make this correction. 2, 3, 6, 14. This I will just wait a second. I will just write it in a proper fashion, because it's also a very important thing and they just ask a lot. They just try to fit it in some form or the other, but this is also a very like interesting thing that I said that you should not about. Yeah. So this was into 1 plus 1, that gave 3. In 1.5 plus 1.5, that gives 6. Into 2 plus 2, that gave 14. And later on, into 2.5 plus 2.5, this is equals to 37.5. 14 into 5 by 2. When you see multiple of 2.5, yeah, you must understand. Always put it in by 2. It is really easy to solve then. 14 into 5 by 2, that is 70 by 2, that is 35. 35 plus 2.5, that is 5. This is also fast trick that you must know. Whenever it is some sort of 0.5, it is 7.5 to 15 by 2, then it is 7 into 15, 105. See, understand the sort of speeds that you must be needing in exam. See, I didn't want to brag or anything. I just wanted to show you this is the sort of speed, and this is again a sort of trick that you must remember. So if there is a multiple of where it is 0.5 at the end, just do it, just convert it into fraction and then multiply and solve. It would always help you to do it in a much faster fashion. Okay. So I think I gave ample time to note it down. I think you must have noted it down by now. So yeah, these are the two things that were really, really, I felt that these were the really good examples that you must know of. So that's why I gave. And again, this was my error. Now, statements and assumptions is also a good thing. Okay, so this is the standard pattern of how they ask the questions. I would just completely read out the direction, because that is some in the similar way they would mention you in the paper, that in each questions below is a statement followed by two assumptions numbered 1 and 2. An assumption is something supposed or taken for granted. You have to consider the statement and the following assumptions and decide which of the assumptions is implicit in the statement. If only one statement one is assumption one is implicit, is if only assumption two is implicit, either one or two, neither one or two, both one and two. Okay. Now, this is pure critical and logical thinking. There's no hard and fast rule to it. Have a critical and logical thinking. Most of these questions would be easy for you. If you feel that you just are having some complexity with it, just try to see more examples on it. Try to build your thinking by removing bias, being completely consistent with the logic that is out there. And that is how it will be helpful for you. So yeah. So again, now just going to the example that is there. Imprisonment for 20 years made Nelson Mandela the president. That is, it means that they are saying is imprisonment of 27 years made Mandela the president, meaning that this gave him the rigor, the resilience to build his character, and this helped him become the president. Now, let's see what are the examples that they are mentioning here. So here they are saying only who will be president be president. This is just random numbers equate karke karna. This is not how things work. So this is just random thing. To become the president, imprisonment is a qualification. Again, no. There is nowhere mentioned that it is a qualification. They are just trying to sell that this built his rigor and resilience, which built his character, and that helped him propel to become a president. So none of these will follow. So D is the answer. Okay. This is a good question. His investment in shares of company A is only a gamble. When something is only a gamble, then it is 50-50. You may win or you may lose. There is no hard and fast rule because it's pure gamble. You toss a coin, it's pure gamble, you will win or not. It is not someday you cannot come up with a strategy with an unbiased coin. You can't come up with a strategy. Like people, I was really amused when people were where Kohli was losing a lot of tosses. People were giving him strategies that okay, you should do this, you should go for this. This is just pure gamble. Tosses and just investment. Here they have mentioned investment is gamble. So in pure gambles, it is just 50-50. You can't say that whether it will be profit for you or loss for you, or just you will win or you will lose. You can't say. So let us say what is the assumptions here. It is that he may incur a loss on his investment. As I said that he may incur. May is a very important word here. If it was will, then this would have been a loss. That's why I said that critical thinking and looking for these big words should always be there in your mind. These words are very important. Will, may, this is like very important things. He may gain from his investment, that is also implicit. So yeah, but both cannot simultaneously. I told you in the start of the example that one thing would work, the other will not work. This is one of those examples. So either he may incur loss on his investment or he may gain from investment. So either one of the two is like true. This question I think could have been framed better, but this is a sort of things that I especially put it in this way only because sometimes the framing is like this as well. So again, before going forward with the other pointers, yeah. So I just wanted to ask like how much R&Ds, yeah. As I said that this was not properly framed, but this thought process could come that, but you think of the thought process from a may point. They are saying that the assumption is he may incur, and why that assumption is coming place, because it's a 50-50 thing. So in a 50-50 thing, you may win a toss. If Kohli is tossing a coin, then the assumption is that he may win, he may lose. The either one of them is an assumption here. So as I said, that this could have been maybe framed a bit better, but such type of ambiguous framings are there. That's why I mentioned it in that fashion only. Now, before going forward, I think that the time we have exceeded the time. So I just wanted to know that for how much more time people are willing to stay, because I don't want that people be there are some important pointers that I would want to take up, and the questions that are there I would want to take up, and I don't want that only few people may know my responses for this responses. So I just wanted to know, like, for how much more time people are willing to be there. Uh, Next day, okay. I really love your enthusiasm. Okay, yeah. So next day, please, if possible. Uh, no, not day. Next day is not possible. This is a really jam-packed thing for me. Uh, okay, 1 hour is also fine. So, okay, what I'm going to do is, I will try to cover as much topic. Could we restart at 11 today? No, अरे bro, इतना नहीं, अभी बहुत काम बचा है भाई अभी. I'm so no, that's not possible. So what I'm going to do here uh is it possibility that he dies not or do the investments? Again, just take whatever I mentioned for that question with a pinch of salt. There needed to be more clarification about it, but this is how it is working. How is it in JBIMS? So this is what I'm going to do. So just hold on. So what I'm going to do is, in the in the 26 minutes, that is, it is 9:04 here. In the next 26 minutes, I'm going to continue, and I would try to cover as many questions, as many topics as possible, giving you the insight, and I'm going to leave out those topics or the questions which I find that there may not be a lot of tricks involved, and then I would come back for all the questions and the pointers that you must be having. I think I see this seems fair. So let's go for the questions in the, and then we will again go back for the any final pointers or topics that they must be there. Okay. So again, yeah, this one. So statements and course of action. So course of action, again, this is the subtopic of the previous one. We have to open a critical mind. We should be open, and we have to be rational about what we are going to mention here. Don't in thinking that okay, yaar, ye aisa to nahi karna chahiye. Only read the statement. Keep your biases aside. Sorry, that was very badly written. Keep your biases aside. Okay. Keep your biases aside. There's no place for it. This is a logical reasoning. This is literally the word is logical reasoning. So be logical. Footpaths of a busy road are crowded with vendors selling cheap items. The footpaths are of a busy road are crowded with vendors selling cheap items. So again, they are selling more, people will be crowded, and it's already a busy road. So just we have to remove it in some sort of way. This we cannot. This is not one of those places where we say just जैसा चल रहा है वैसा चलने दे. This is not one of those cases. This is not we could do कि भाई जैसा चल रहा है वैसा चलने दे. This is we have to do something. It's a busy road, and their vendors are selling cheap items. So there's on a footpath. So there's a lots of possibility that there'll be lot of blockages that would happen, and it would really disrupt the whole traffic of the city. So there is something that needs to be done. Now let us see the course of action. The help of police should be sought to drive them away. Yes, the course of action we should take place. This is a course of action we need to take place, because it's a very important thing that to do. This will really disrupt this has the potential of disrupting whole city because it's already busy road. So this is something that needs to happen. This is a course of action that must take place. Some space should be provided to them where they can earn their bread without blocking the footpath. This is also a course of action. Now, this may feel that it is like we are going out of our way, but no, this is a course of action because this is not mentioned that there is no place where it is mentioned that what they are doing is completely or that how illegal it is or what are the repercussions for it, how people will react or how these people will react. Or there's a lots of ambiguity that is there, so we would need to take that into account, and that is something is the reason why we would also say that this is also a course of action for mentioned here, so both will follow. Now again, this is also a very good question that I found. A very large number of students have failed in high school examination due to faulty questions in one of the subjects. All very large number of students have failed in the final high school exam, high faulty questions in one of the subjects. So this must be really some really critical thing must have happened, because otherwise large number of students failing, it gives a tone that there must be something really bad that have happened. Now let us see the courses of action. All who have failed in the subject should take supplementary examination. Yes. There is some sort of faulty mechanism that has taken place. You have to a chance. This is something that you must do. You cannot just say that okay, one person failed really badly, let us feel that no, this is not how the system works. You must allow all the students who have failed in subject to supplementary examinations. Another course of action could be to allow all the students in the university to take the exams, but it doesn't mean that this should not be the course of action. Understand this. This is also confusion that you must be having. That let us allow all the students to take the examination. That's also a good course of action, but it doesn't mean that this should not be the course of action. Okay, this is also a logical error that people do. So please be mindful of it. Yeah. Second part. Those who are responsible for the error should be suspended and an inquiry should be initiated to find out the facts. Yes. All those responsible for the error should be suspended and inquiry should be initiated to find out facts. Don't you think that it is really harsh? Please note it down. It does not matter. Of action is harsh, it is not, it is mild, or it is garam thanda, it doesn't matter. The course of action, if it is logical, then it follows. That's it. This is the only thing that you must remember while giving the exam, and that is why the correct answer would be what follows. Hope I'm able to make this thing clear. Always be logical in these things. Don't let your biases come into play. Things may be harsh things, harsh results may come, but you just have to just go forward if it's logical to you. Let us go to the next topic. Inequalities. Against inequality is something that is also asked, and in the same way it is asked, that is mentioned here. Yeah, it is mentioned here in this way. So okay, so here one thing that you would must do is, because this is how commonly it is asked, is you must look for bridge. This is a bridge. Now what happens is, there are on two sides of the bridge. When there is a bridge and there are things on two sides, these things and these things will not relate. If the symbols are consistent here, or symbols may not be consistent there, they will not relate. If the first symbol is following some pattern, after that, there will be no relation then. T and S, you will not be able to relate. T and D, there is no relation. A and D, there is no relation. B and D, B and S, there is no relation. Please understand this, that when you see a bridge like this, and bridges of equality, generally the bridges of equality, then the things that are on either side will not be able to properly relate. So this is something that, okay. You open your text when you are about to end in case anything is just what. Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. So again, this is something in the bridge. So remember this. Now let us go to the conclusions that is out there. This is how the bridge is. These things will be related to the things that are inside the bridge will be related to everything, but things that are on one end, on one side, this side of the bridge, this and this, only these will not be related to each other. But in the part which is making the bridge, that will be related to both the sides. Please note this down, because this is an important thing. So now D. I hope you have made this distinction here. Only one follows. For which? Achha, okay. So for this question you ask, let us sorry. So here's the thing. D is greater than F. Let me erase this. Yeah. So since D, now this is great thing. Now since D is greater than S and S is following equality or greater than equal to the F thing, so D would also be greater than F. This is how long thing is. If the final part is greater in this chain, sorry, not in the final part, if in this chain equals this 3 greater than sign in the before the last to F, then D will always be greater than F. That I could have put greater than sign here, then equal sign here, and then greater than equal to, then also this would have been the correct one. So always remember this thing. Now let us go to the next one. Sorry. A is greater than S. Again, that A and S are different part of the bridges, will not relate. So this means only that's it. This is again those things where symbols are there and you have to work with the symbols. That's it. There is no and rules out there. The symbol is this is like the previous thing, just we are mindful of the symbol. I'm not going to cover this because this is just the same as above. There is no involved in it. This is a question. So okay. So water, hydrogen, and atmosphere and hydrogen. So this is a very ambiguous sort of thing that is out there. But there is water, hydrogen, and atmosphere. Just create this sort of graph first, always, and try to merge it and see that if you are seeing that these things and these things are not there. Okay. So is there water outside the atmosphere? Yes, there is water outside the atmosphere, but water has a component of hydrogen, so that has to be there. Let us see the atmosphere thing. So atmosphere, does it have only hydrogen and water? No, there are other components also there. Yeah, sorry. Also in water, there is other component other than hydrogen also is there. There is oxygen. Same for hydrogen. It is only not present in water and atmosphere. It is present everywhere. So you have to think it in this way. That is why I mentioned this example, because it was really a bit ambiguous in language. So that's why D will be hold true in this. Sorry if I'm going a little fast here, but I need to cover the last part before we could go on to question answers. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Again, doctors, lawyers, and professional. Doctor, lawyer, and professionals. So are there doctors who are not lawyers? Yes. Are there doctors and lawyers? No, this is not there. So doctor, lawyer is not there. So this will also be not there. Are there lawyers and professionals? Yes. Lawyers have to be professional. Doctors have to be professional. Can there exist doctors who are not professional? No, that is they are not proper doctors. So this is not proper. And same for lawyer. So we see that doctors, lawyers, and professionals can be outside doctors and lawyers as well. So we see that doctors and lawyers cannot exist together, and they cannot exist apart from professionals. So there will be a big gap of there will be a big curve of professionals in which there will be both doctors and lawyers in a disjoint set, because they have no intersections amongst themselves. So the correct answer will be B. See, this is my approach, always creating this sort of graph and then crossing things out. But if you feel that this is complicating your thought process, then there is no need for you to go by this method. You could use your critical thinking and logical reasoning as well in solving these questions. But you have to be critically sound and be have calmness in the examination. Then you'll be able to solve it well. Yeah. So now, linear arrangement. Linear arrangement, certain number of persons standing in a row. Okay. After linear arrangement, what is there? Rank and order. I think rank and order is like more important. And I think we have only time for like one set. So I think we'll do rank and order. If we have more time, maybe we'll do the linear arrangement. But linear arrangement is also more or less the same. It doesn't have any tricks involved. It is just we have to, we'll see if we can go by it. I will try to incorporate those examples as well, but let us see. Okay. So 7 persons: Kajal, Bhagat, Mandeep, Kiran, Rinku, Pranav, Shreya. So what an exam is, I only light the first two same, try to find the like what is the break here. So it is K A K I. Sometimes the break doesn't happen in the first two letters, so I do the first and last and something like that. So because पूरा नाम लिखने में थोड़ा सा issue हो जाता है, so just that is how I do it. So it is K B M Kiran KI Rinku Pranav and Shreya. So these are the 7 people that is out there. Have different height and weight such that the tallest one is not the heaviest one. Now this is a very good question. Okay. So how should I put the heaviest or one for the heaviest? You would be more comfortable with. Can't you assign numbers to the effort? No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm telling you, don't do that. It will complicate things. Okay, I'm going with the one for the heaviest. So this is Max. So Max gets the first rank. I'm just ranking it. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is height. This is weight. Okay. Max and min. Pranav is heavier than Bhagat. So now what we have to do is we have to create a weight section. So this is what you should do in exam. You should create a weight section in which only weight wise you have to do, and then create a height section in which only height variation is happening, because these are two different things. Okay. But always remember that the first and the last, the only thing that they are saying is the tallest one is not the, such that the tallest one is not the heaviest one. So these two cannot be same people. That's it. Nothing else is mentioned. So we have to do it in this fashion. So this is my suggestion. If you like it, you must incorporate. Otherwise, you must just try to think on what is the best strategy that you feel. Okay. Kiran is taller than Kajal. So Ki is taller than Kajal. Okay. But not heavier than Shreya. Shreya. Okay. Bhagat is heavier than Rinku. Bhagat is heavier than Rinku. ठीक है भाई, Rinku पीछे रहेगा तुम भगत से वजन में, कोई नहीं. But not as tall as Mandeep. So Mandeep, Bhagat. ठीक है. Kiran is not taller than Pranav. Okay. Not taller. Kiran is not taller than Pranav. So Kiran is not taller than. Okay. Again, this is not exact order. That's why I have not put it any place here. This is just that how they will be in some place or the other. So Pranav is, if it's taller than Kiran, so he'll be taller than Kajal. That is no. Okay. Okay. Shreya is not taller than Kajal. Okay, okay. Then Shreya is not taller than Kajal. So Shreya will be taller than Kajal. Okay. Shreya is not taller than Kajal and also not heavier than Rinku. So here Rinku will go ahead. Okay. And here B would also go ahead. Okay, just let me put it in a better fashion. BRSKI. Yeah. So what was Shreya is not taller than taller than Kajal and not heavier than Rinku. Okay, yeah. Kajal is not lighter than Deep. So Kajal is heavier than Mandeep. Okay. Kajal is heavier than Mandeep. Who is heavier than Bhagat? Okay. Very good. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful, beautiful thing. The Kajal is not lighter than Mandeep. Who's heavier than Bhagat? This we get a very beautiful thing out there. Very good. Mandeep shorter than only one person. Good. Very good. Where is Mandeep? Is shorter than only one person. Pranav is not the second heaviest. Pranav is not the second heaviest and lighter than Mandeep. So Pranav will be someplace here, here to here, any place. So it means that Pranav is not the second heaviest and is lighter than Mandeep. So this two will be there. And then in these 5, we will see how the variation is occurring. Okay. Pranav is not the heaviest and lighter than Mandeep. Kajal is a lot lighter than Mandeep, who is heavier than Bhagat. If it is directly, if they are trying to put it someplace like here, Pranav is here or something like that. So follow the directly if they are mentioning if they are mentioning it in direct order. I would have to go ahead and just rectify it once if it's mentioned directly or not. Take whatever answer I'm mentioning here with a pinch of salt. So then the Shreya would be the correct answer because Pranav will be here and then B R S K I would be here. How many persons are heavier than one who is second shortest? So second shortest. Kiran is taller than Kajal. What have you? I think I have messed this part up. So I will what about, I think let me I would do this. Instead of just complicating it further, I will give you a proper solution to it. And if there is some rectification that would be needed, I would provide it to you. Because the thing is, I don't want to complicate you with you more because this is the later half of the session. I just don't want to I don't want to complicate it. And I feel that there has to be some sort of like error in my because मैं थोड़ा टैब वैब में लिखने में कभी-कभी चीजें मिस आउट हो जाती हैं ऐसे जो पेन पेपर में लिखने पे. So maybe that must have been the case. So I will see that it is mentioned the second line Pranav is heavier than Bhagat. You missed that second. Again, that is the thing that what I'm saying is that that when mentioning it here, वो टैब वैब लिखने में इधर-उधर की लाइन वाइन भी मिस हो जाती है कभी-कभी. So it must have been that case. So so okay. So you like back to this example again and then solve it, or should I go to the next one? What is the I could like go back and solve from the second line and then we will get back the answer. But you have seen that is the gist of how we are going to go about it. If I could get few of the answers, I would accordingly do because we are just on the brink of closing the session for questions, and I just wanted to do books one. So what do you suggest? Anyone could answer. Should I go with the books one, or I just go with it? Okay. So basically, sir, only give the final answers. Okay. Okay. No. I for that I will give the explanation. Others I will only give the final answer. But for that I will separately give the explanation because the thing is that is something that I should have explained better. And Radhika, the linear arrangement, there is only one topic I could cover. Yeah, I'm really like have in excess of time. Okay, people like just give 5 or 6. Just tell me, should I go for the books or should I go for the linear arrangement? I'm just waiting for 1 minute because यार बहुत ज़्यादा लेट हो गया वरना मैं बिल्कुल अभी ये सारे मैं तो बैठ के सारे ही करूँ but it's really I'm running low on time. Assistance. Give final answer for both. Yeah. I would give the final answers for the both. Don't just telling you to just hold on to it as of now. I will just provide you with the final answers for the both. It would be shared with you. Okay. On a later time. Okay. So general consensus of books. So we are going for books. Okay. I'm sorry. The linear arrangement one that also that it had some importance, but again, this is the time crunch that we face. 6 books: English, Science, Computer, Maths, Sanskrit. Each contains different number of pages. Computer book contains fewer pages than only 2 books. Okay. Computer contains fewer pages than only 2 books. So computer will be here. That's it. English book contains more pages than science book. English more than science books, but less than Sanskrit. This book does not contain least pages. Not science. Sanskrit book contains fewer pages than Hindi book. Very good. Hindi book. Then very good. This is completely solved. You understood now why it's completely solved. Because the science cannot be the last, so it has to take this position for the 4 to arrange in this order. I hope I'm able to clarify myself. Let me tell you very slowly again. See, these are the 4 things that have to come in this order. That Hindi has to be greater than Sanskrit, Sanskrit has to be greater than English, English has to be greater than science in some order or the other. But science has to be behind these 3. So for being, and computer is also there. So it has to be behind computer as well. Now it has to take for this place only. And since it can't take place, this can't take the last place, so science will take the second last place. I hope I am able to clarify. I did it in a very slow fashion so that you could understand. So this is maths here. Science does not contain the least pages. Sanskrit books contains fewer pages than Hindi book, that we did. Book which contain the third lowest pages contains 28 books. Third lowest, sorry. The books contains third lowest pages, 28 pages. Third lowest is English. Okay. How many book contain more pages than science book? 4 books. 4 books contains more pages than science book. If Sanskrit and computer books contains 89 pages, Sanskrit and computer books contains 89 pages. Sanskrit and computer. Computer and English contain 63. Computer and English contain 63. तो ये 35 हो गया या 4 हो गया. इसमें तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं की बात ही नहीं है. ना संस्कृत कंटेंट्स 54 होगा शायद आंसर इसका. खत्म. See, I'm running out of, I have completely run out of time, but बहुत लोग तुम लोग बोले, 1-2 लोग ने बोला है, तो मैं किसी को सैड करके नहीं छोड़ना चाहता. तो एक बार लीनियर अरेंजमेंट I would just look again. Okay. So in linear arrangement, you must understand that the north and south. This is 2 things that you must be really mindful of. Please do it. All north or south. पेजेस अपने उल्टे सीधे करके तुम बना लेना. मैं तो ऐसा ही करता था कि नॉर्थ करता था, तो नॉर्थ मतलब मेरे सीधा है, राइट सोचता. साउथ के लिए मैं उल्टा सोचता, मतलब लेफ्ट. सो दिस वाज माय वे ऑफ थिंकिंग. यू कैन थिंक इन अदर वेज, बट प्लीज लिसन एंड अंडरस्टैंड दैट नॉर्थ एंड साउथ, ये वर्ड्स पे ध्यान देना पूरा. ठीक है. सर्टेन नंबर ऑफ पर्सन और सर्टेन नंबर ऑफ पर्सन है, हम लोग को कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं है कितने पर्सन है, तो कुछ लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है अभी समय. सर्टेन नंबर पर्सन इज स्टैंडिंग इन अ लीनियर रो फेसिंग टुवर्ड्स नॉर्थ. सो गुड इन्फॉर्मेशन इज हम लोग नॉर्थ ऐसे जा रहे हैं. ठीक. इन्फॉर्मेशन व्हाट ऑफ फ्यू ऑफ देम इज गिवन बिलो. टी स्टैंड्स थर्ड टू द लेफ्ट ऑफ जी. पहला जो भी बनाना एकदम सेंटर पे बनाना, बिकॉज द फर्स्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन जनरली दे गिव इज, उसके वो कुछ पता नहीं, you don't know, there may be lots of people to this side, lots of people to that side, it may be in the extreme, so it is a safe bet to put it in the middle and solve. Okay. T stands third to the left of G. T stands third to the left of G. Who is sixth to the right of A? Sixth, fifth, fourth, third, second, first. ठीक है. 1 2 3 4 5 6. All clear? T stands third to the left of G, who is 6 to the right of A. 7 persons stand between B and T. Now यहाँ पे भाई केस बनेंगे, ठीक है? केस बना लो, उसके बाद we can case obviously 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 1 2 3 4 5 6 and this is 7. These are two different. I'm sorry for that. This is 2. ठीक है? ऐसे करता हूँ. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 3. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 B. ठीक है, चलो. 7 persons stand between B and T, where T is somewhere left of B. Oh my God, T is somewhere left of B. So okay, this was not the case. I'm sorry. T is somewhere to the left of B. T is somewhere to the left of B. तो ऊपर वाला केस नहीं होगा. बहुत हो रही है भाई इस समय. 7 persons stand between B and T, where T is somewhere to the left of B. 3 persons stand between D and B. 3 persons stand between D and B. So this is also something you could do. D you could put here and D you could put here. एक ऊपर वाला फिलॉसफी भी लगा दो. कभी कभी बार बार बनाने से पड़ गया, ये भी बना दिया करो. ऊपर वाली फिलॉसफी ये भी अच्छी काम करती है, ठीक है? So D is 3 persons stand between D and B. Who is B? Now 3 persons stand between D and B. Now B, who is second to the left of the one who is fourth from the right end. 1 2 3 4th. तो हम लोग को एक राइट एंड मिल गया. खत्म बात. चलो, हमको पहला लेफ्ट हैंड तो नहीं मिला, राइट हैंड मिल गया, ठीक है? तो B is 3 persons stand between D and B, who is second to the left of the one who is fourth from the right. ठीक है? 4 persons stand between U and C. Only 4 persons stand between U and C. So U and C, 4 person. अब ये इधर हो सकता है, ठीक है? 3 persons stand to the right of C. 1 2 3. तो ये C वाला बंदा था जिसकी बात कर रहे थे. अब now understand the hidden info. Now since U is 4 between U and C there are 4 people and इसके आगे तो सिर्फ 3 ही है, तो U इधर आ ही नहीं सकता. So U will come here. So 1 2 3 4 U would be here. I hope able to convey myself properly here. Only 4 persons stand between U and C. 3 persons stand to the right of C, which is half the number of persons standing to the left of T. बस बात बनेगी हमारी. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. ये हमारा लेफ्ट हैंड है. 1 2 3 4 5 6. T के इधर इतने लोग हैं, ये इसके इधर इतने लोग हैं, ठीक है? बट अभी देखिए D. For D, we are not able to get clarity. D is no clarity here. If D is to the left of B, if D is to the left of B, यहाँ पर, then how many persons stand between U and D? There will be no one that is standing between U and D. That's it. That's the answer. What is the position of T with respect to U? 1 2 3 4 5. Fifth to the left of U. So that's it. So basically you just need to be mindful that how you just place your things. Now see, this sort of error can happen with you. What I do to avoid such errors is in the exam sheet I just give more space. Like यहाँ पे क्या होना है, इसीलिए थोड़ा सा इधर space की कमी थी, वरना exam में I keep more space, a lot of space, and I just if my paper is like in this fashion, I just tilt it and solve it like this. I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to convey. You just flip it 90 degrees so that you get a lot of length in solving such question, because as you can see, your left and right, and you can see how much big of a place it is covering. And there is that is out there. So these things you just need to be mindful of, and then most of the times you'll not make any errors like the one that I start was making. Yeah. So with this, I conclude for my part, and then I'm just going to have a brief discussion on the chat things that is mentioned. I hope that people are able to, I'm certain that you will be able to gain if you follow the things that I mentioned. I'm saying without any humility, because those are very, 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 very important concepts. But apart from that, if you would have enjoyed or would have learned something more, I'm really happy if it would have happened. But yeah, now we are just going to look at the questions that is out there. I'm going to stop share screen. Yeah. How is it? Let's start. Share a bit about time distribution during mocks. How much minutes for each round? Great session. I'm really thankful for people who found it a great session. I truly felt that this was. I just give me a minute or so. So yeah, I'm really happy that you found it great session. But more than great, I hope that you are able to take these tips with you, which I mentioned for the questions out there. These questions that I mentioned, I really put in efforts to look at the level of yeah, I hope I'm audible. I'm extremely sorry. The session has not ended. I will take up the questions. Uh, this is really unfortunate. So, uh, most of the questions that I just heard, I would just have to give you the replies, because yeah, I think people. I'm really sorry who had asked questions before. If you could ask again, it's possible, because the thing is that I got I got left out. I just dropped out of the meeting, so the previous questions are not visible to me. So, but yeah, I think it's also fair that if people have dropped out, then they would not be here to get the answers. So might as well. But I'm extremely sorry at least for my part. So if you could just ask the questions again, and yeah. Remaining calm on the D-Day. So first of all, that's the thing that I would want you to understand is you can only remain calm on the D-Day if you have practiced the calmness throughout. Why do you practice and go through so much mocks? Because when your practice should be sufficient enough so that on exam day you would be able to convert it in the best fashion. Otherwise, why there is such a need of going through so many mocks? Exam to ek hi hota hai na, mock itne क्यों देने? We just do it so that we get attuned to it. So in the same fashion, if you have to stay calm during the D-Day, you have to start practicing on staying calm throughout your journey till the final examination day. So that is the strategy that I adopted. And how I stayed calm during I faced a lots of unfortunate results before that. So for me it was really tough to stay focused, but I kept on doing few positive activities for me. uh uh just a second. Yeah. So for me it was watching movies. For you could be something else. So there has to be some sort of a positive thing side by side you just need to be doing, so that whatever just keeps you calm. But you have to start practicing being calmness. As I said, calmness can really change your result completely. It can even take you from being a 120 student to a JB student. If you were a 120 student, then also you could become a JB student if you just stay calm. So my focus is like staying calmness is like paramount. So this is what the steps I take. How is it going at JBIMS? आ जाओ पता ही चल जाएगा. It goes the same ways for each batch. But it's fun, guys. Don't take it as negative. It's awesome, and it's really, you get to learn from really like I just can't mention to you how great the professors are. Like it is just I can't put into words, so I'm not going to. How do you the second and third questions? How do you benchmark the second round questions? As I said, the round strategy I think matters. I would not take up a lot of. I would not give you lots of my suggestions, because my strategy was basically of 40 questions in 30 minutes. So this was my basic strategy. And so it was mostly the first round one that I went about, and I was able to do almost all the questions. But so that I will not just confuse you with giving something strategy about something that I didn't imply. So yeah, that is my answer to it. In scoring ECT, easy or CMAT, sorry, can't answer that from my side, but I think CMAT has some GK part, so it would depend on your GK. So yeah, I think these are the things that are there. Are the level of puzzles as shown in the masterclass same as CET? The questions that I have taken up during the logical reasoning part, they are absolutely same as CET exam. The level is this only. If you are thinking that in mock the level is higher or lower, it varies to just attune you to just perform well in the exam. But in general, the level of puzzles in the level of questions that I at least gave today were mostly there, mostly same as that of exam. Mock analysis strategy for jumbled pattern. It was really tough. See, I gave a sigh because it was really tough for me. For me, for first of all to sit in a jumbled pattern thing, it was really tough for me. I was giving the exams which has significantly less number of questions than CET. So it was really tough. But what my strategy that I did was first focus on those questions which I skipped, knowing that it was too hard for me, not because I felt it was strange, knowing it was too hard for me. I first looked on those questions. Then I looked on those questions which had lots of people were getting correct, but I got it wrong. So what was the silly error that I did for my part? Third, I looked on the questions that I felt that I not able to solve properly, and then I would see that if there are any other questions that I need to just analyze again. So this was my basic strategy. I can solve puzzles and DI in everyday practice sessions, but when it comes to exam, I attempt puzzles in round 2 and I'm not able to crack more than one puzzle. So any suggestions to improve? Practice and see if you could change your strategy. That's all I would say. That is because you should be very fluid. Understand here, whatever strategy that you have in your mind, be dynamic enough to completely change it on exam day. CET is a very dynamic paper. I'm just going to say to you, so go in the exams with 2 or 3 basic strategy, put one strategy as the first one, and then go to the next one, but make sure that you have multiple strategies with that you have. Please, this is a very dynamic paper. You have to be dynamic regarding that. Are the level of puzzles as shown in the masterclass? Okay, sorry. Pick the ranking pro here. Yeah. See, nothing is sufficient enough. Yeah. So nothing is sufficient enough, but yeah, those level of questions are really helpful. What if some easy question left in 30-40 strategy? For me, this was my CETs was frustrating because I'm an Indian candidate, so I never found it really comfortable in trying to go for CET. I looked on working on my strengths like CAT and ZAT. But when I gave this first attempt, just understand that the level of work that I put in was extremely high. Like it was combined of CAT and ZAT that I put in the previous attempt. So yeah. So it may be a first attempt, but my amount of effort was like of multiple attempts. I gave around, I think I gave around 30 to 40 marks. I gave in total. And initially in the first 10 marks, I am telling you, the scores was really stagnant. After that, only it started to jump a little. And score jumping should not be important. You must understand that how away you are from the 99th percentile person, what is your rank? Okay. So I'm going to take one final question before I close. This is not the final question that I'm taking. I'm just telling that we don't know what my score is, but I believe that it was something around 160 in the examination, as per my estimate. Just the TTP material is more than sufficient. I did everything from TTP and no place else. There is no other mocks that I did, nothing else. Completely, I followed TTP right from the start to end. And that was more than sufficient enough for me. Yeah, only the test ones that was provided by TTP. So I think I would close with this. Anay, if you are there.
Yep. Hi. Thank you so much for this, Rajat. Really appreciate all the effort you've put in. I'm sure every student is going to take a lot from this. Like, you've really spent such a long time, and we really appreciate it. But guys, if you have any other questions, you can always use the YouTube comments. You can reach out to us on Instagram as well. We will ask you. We are here to answer all your questions. We'll probably call Rajat again onto our YouTube channel if he's kind enough, and which he is. He's a really nice guy, as you can see from the effort that he's put in for this. But yeah, if anything, please reach out to us on YouTube, Instagram, anything's fine. Just leave it in the comments. We read all of it. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Rajat. Really, from all of us, it's the last masterclass you kept for this year. But thank you so much for this, Rajat. Thank you guys for attending, and yeah, have a good night, guys.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anna. Good night.
Good night.